Alright. So the Tekken 8 characters for DLC for Season 3, Year 3, has been revealed. It's Kunimitsu first, then it's Bob, which I don't give a fuck about Bob. Bob was a character from like Tekken 6, Tekken 7, Tekken 6. I think he was Tekken, I can't remember because I never played Tekken 5 or Tekken 6. Alright, all I know is he was in Tekken 6, right? And like he was one of those characters that like they would call like easy, really good at that. So like he was like basically what Tekken 8 is now, where all the characters are easier and all the characters are super strong. That's what Bob was back then. Right? Same thing with Lars. So he's a returning character, but his whole thing is that he's fat but fast. He's a joke character. He's a joke character. He's supposed to be funny. He's supposed to be like a laugh. Like, oh, this fat guy can kind of move. The same thing where it's like fucking Law is a ripoff of Bruce Lee, and there's supposed to be like some comedy there. I don't like those characters. I don't like their presentation. And then the third character that they reviewed is a fucking kangaroo. I don't even like the bears. And they haven't had a kangaroo in the game for years. Literally years. So, two of the characters that a bunch of people will be like, oh yeah, these are cool characters, these are fun characters, these are interesting characters. I enjoy having these characters. Either because like, he was actually good at one point, or they just like, think it's funny because American and fat. I think both of those are corny. Alright? Mainly the Bob one. But the only character I did like was Kunimitsu. And of course I'm labeling myself by saying this. I genuinely do think Kunimitsu is interesting. I did. Keep in mind, my main Yoshimitsu, Kunimitsu, name's similar. Playstyles are pretty, I don't want to say similar, playstyles, I can't say playstyles are similar. But what I can say is that as far as like interesting tools and having like certain stance options like Katan, I forget what this one's called. I forget what that's called. Like having Katan, that one, and then there's another one. I'm trying to remember, but I can't really think of it. So like there's a couple of stances here. There's some cool stuff that I enjoy, but the main complaint that people had was, one, she's a waifu, so she has a good sidestep, and two, she has like ease of use. The reason I played Kunimitsu when I first started playing this game, and I didn't even play it that long, because I immediately hopped to 8, because 8 released, right, is because, one, visually, I like the art style, two, I like the concept. So the same way I would look at a Bob player and be like, yo bro, you're corny for liking that character, someone can look at that and look at me and say the same thing. I just think a thief with a dagger is cool. Like, that's the thing, it's just to each their own. Personally, I think dagger characters are cool, bow characters are cool. Like, anyone who has like a fast-hitting, evasive playstyle, I think is cool. On top of having unorthodox tools for the game that they're in, right? And no, like, even like, you can say that someone like Akuma in Tekken 7 has cool abilities, but that's only because it breaks the rules of the game, right? That's only because it breaks the rules of the game. Where, if you think about it, having a special cancelable literally defies the core fundamentals of the game. Having a throwable teleport as a whiff punish doesn't really break the rules of the game. It's dumb easy, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna lie and say like this isn't a free whiff punish, because it is, right? There we go. I was trying to remember the actual manual input. So like, having basically a free whiff punish and quarter circle forward 1, or if you're using special style, just the 3 button, is incredibly strong and incredibly easy to do, right? And this is the game that they introduced special style, like literally meant to help people do the good moves easy, which Tekken has a long history about being a hard fighting game for fighting game players with a lot of depth. So making it easy actually disrupts the gameplay cycle, yes. But the point is, objectively, I am excited because the characters that I liked in this game that I wanted to learn to play, right, that I looked at the moves for, you know, is coming back. Right? She's objectively coming back. So what I'm trying to do here, right, is I'm going to look at some of the moves, like go through her move list in preparation for it. There's gonna be a bunch of moves where it's just like, oh, I want this one, I want this one, this one. Because here's the thing, because a very important thing, if I can refresh this, alright. So the default, what they did in Tekken 8 is that they made a bunch of people easier, right? Obviously, Yoshimitsu has certain moves with different inputs that are easier. His combo structure is easier. He has more damage, which for a character like Yoshimitsu, who's supposed to be like a trickster, evasive, counter hit timing character, giving that archetype of character more damage makes their job easier. One, because they kill you faster, but that means the number of interactions that they have to trick you with drops, and that's important because when you have someone like Yoshimitsu and his combo damage is low, even if he cheeses you out twice, you still have to lose 2 more like heavy interactions, not pokes, like full on he got a read and did something with the read, right? If he did a mix-up, you guessed wrong twice on a big punish, on a big mix-up, and then you still have more time to go. Because he wasn't doing crazy numbers, right? But now in Tekken 8, everyone does massive damage, so Yoshi in the very beginning was doing extremely high amounts of damage. It's still not surprising now in Tekken 8 on Yoshi to get 80 to like 70 something damage, to like 80 something damage with your basic combo. And since we have 200 life, right, that's still like 4 interactions. But now we have great health, and his combos mostly do great health, and then you heal when you attack back. So you're really having multiple interactions that you have to go through. If there was a move that Yoshi had for his combo structure to completely remove great health, I genuinely think Yoshi would go back to being like quote unquote broken because of the fact that he removes your ability to fight back in the future. Because it goes from being 4 interactions to 2 interactions. Because he just clears your great health and then pokes you out. Another example is they made a change with Devil Jin where they removed all of Devil Jin's poking. And if you do not believe me, in fact, I'd rather just show you that. Hold on. I'm trying to find the quick select. This is going to be really quick. I know this is about Kuni, but the reason I'm bringing up Devil Jin in the context of Tekken 8 and its changes is because 1, we have the heat system. Like the reason I'm bringing it up is because 1, we have the heat system, 2, we have power crushes, 3, we have rage arts, and then like there's a bunch of changes they can make for balance, and then they like to add on stances, and then they're adding moves, and they do a bunch of bullshit, right? Like for example, this is a guard break. This is in Tekken 7. This is in Tekken 8. Guard. Right? But it's not a guard break in this game. They made it a guard break. And you're like, so what? It's like, it's a full charge guard break, you'll just react. But that's the thing, you can cancel it. In this game, you can't cancel it. Right? You have to do the full thing if you want to be plus 17. And there's no guard break. And there's no wall crumple either. So what that means is, in this scenario, if you just holding back, and you're looking out for like you're looking out for Hell Sweep, looking out for down back 2 as the 2 low options, because maybe like that one doesn't do anything, that one doesn't really do anything, right? So you're looking out for these 2 very slow low options that if you block them, you get good punishes. And he does something like this, which also crouches him down. He cannot cancel it. He has to do the full thing. And sure, he's plus 17, you're still in the same situation. You just hold back. But in Tekken 8, it's entirely different because they added in such wonky bullshit into the game where there's a guard break attached where you have to make a decision when you see this. You go from do nothing, like, if the answer you have in a scenario is that you can do nothing, it puts the emphasis of skill on the person who is attacking, which means they are the ones that if they fail, gets punished. That is objectively the truth. And when you're playing Tekken 8 and you have a guard break from this move, that means you're forcing a response from your opponent. If they do nothing, they get guard broken into a 1-1-2 knockdown, into a get up mix, right? Whether it be hell sweep, right? Whether it be, do they not? I guess they don't have it in this game. Okay. Whether it be like Raw Rising 2, right? Whatever his launching is, launcher from crouches, right? The point is, you have to make a decision. It forces a decision. And since it forces a decision, that means now I can force you to press a button. You have to. But in this game, if I don't full charge it, right? If I just press it, -6. If you do it at the exact right time, you're +0. Alright, so it's neutral. But it's like see how hard I'm trying to do an early release to get +0. So that means like you're basically committed to this. On top of, I'm pretty sure it's side walkable no matter what. Like I think in this game, alright, the tracking's okay, but in like Tekken 8, there's basically no tracking. You can fully side walk around this, I think. Yeah. So that's the issue where it forces you to do something, and in Tekken 8 it doesn't track you, but you can do the half charge, which does track. So I can do a half charge in Tekken 8, which tracks your step, which you would have used to option select, like if I do full charge or half charge, but it doesn't work. So you have to do something. Because if you stand still, because you think I'm going to do the half charge, then I do full charge guard break you. If you press a button thinking I'm going to do the full charge, right, and I do half charge, I interrupt you, right? And if you do nothing, and you try to, I'm a sidestep into nothing, I still track you if I do half charge. Which means I can just do half charge all the time. And you think like, oh, but it's like 0, you can just jab back. No, in Tekken 8, you're +5 off of a half. You're +5 off of half charge. Because the guard break is full charge. So like they're not going to give you an extra plus frames, right? So you get a guard break for full, and then you're plus on half. So there's literally no reason not to do it. Like, it's literally free. Because they have to react to you doing this, and they go, oh, if I press now, and he's doing half, I'll get hits for no reason. Literally no reason at all. And it's still his turn. So I'm just gonna do nothing. And then you do full charge. And of course it's Tekken, right? It's a fighting game. All fighting games have decisions to be made, and will he, won't they. The point is that at least in this game, if I fully charge it, I'm risking my life because you can step around the movement and punish me for it very easily. Right? And I have to fully commit to it. And I get no reward if I do it on like a half charge. Right? Once I reach this point where my sparks up and I get a Rasengan, there's nothing. I can't do anything. If I let go, it's just... You know what I mean? So like, stuff like that changed, where before you could be like, oh, that's a pretty fair move, that's not too despicable, I get that, I get why we have that, that's cool. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm cool with that existing in the game. Right? And then there's this move. This fucking move doesn't exist in 8. In fact, the notation for this move doesn't exist in 8. There is no 4-4-3-1. It's just 3-1. Right? Right? They made it easier. And this low that leaves you +3 as a mix-up doesn't exist. Right? It just doesn't exist. So they took away like this good poke. So all you're left with is into a mid. You have 2 mids. One mid that tracks sidesteps, right? Because you can sidestep like this variant, you can sidestep in 8. You can just sidestep it to the left. You can sidestep it to the left, right? And I'm pretty sure you can dick jab in between it, right? I think you can duck the high here. So like it has an inherent weakness, right? So it's not broken. That's not the point that I'm making. The point is this in Tekken 8 is +3. Just doing that motion is +3. So they're incentivized to duck the high, right? So the mix-up is still, there's still a mix there of like, what is he gonna do after? Like, is he gonna finish the string? But the difference is you don't get access to this mix or this mix, right? You don't get access to this, even though this move is in this game. They took it away. They decided that this being in his kit was either too strong or not worth. It's not like it conflicted with his moveset either. Because there is nothing, like, I don't get why they didn't add this move. I don't. Because there's no logical way outside of them deciding that they didn't want this character to perform or be in this way, and then they made him a 50-50 casino character. And that's what they did. Like, if you look at this character, right? Decided to... Right, that's low. Oh, is that 1+2? Yeah, I'm doing it wrong, okay. You know what I mean? Like, that's a mix. You can still do it, but it isn't an actual string. So, like, it feels like they're taking moves out for the character. Right? They're just taking moves out. And it feels weird. It feels like a weird decision to make. Like, this low doesn't exist. This is just forward 4. I actually don't think this move exists. And no, I don't think it does. Because like there's just a bunch of cool stuff like this move just inherently looks good. And then they'll probably like in Heat have a laser follow-up. Because I'm pretty sure there is no 4-4-3+4 in Tekken 8. Obviously Laser Scraper exists, right? We have the standard variants, right? I mean, you just have the standard Mishima stuff. So like, they took stuff out, and it's still technically possible to do. The only thing that's not possible to do is this low. Like they just said no, this is not allowed, right? And it's like okay. What is the consequence of ducking? All right, let's say I'm ducking. If you get hit by, let's say, let me back up. Let's say you get hit by the basic. It's a knockdown. In Tekken 8, it's a knockdown. You don't get launched, right? All right. If you get hit by that, he's just +3, and you take what? Like, how much damage? Like, it feels negligible. It feels like it doesn't matter. It feels like, essentially, they took away that poke for no reason at all. And if they added in later, as like a later season patch of like, oh, we're giving him this move back, look how good we're doing. It's like, bro, he had that before. And you're probably asking yourself, what is this one singular move that you're bitching about not having in the game have to do with Kunimitsu and Tekken 8? My point is, if they're going to change Devil Jin so much from being like a poke-based Mishima character into like a 50-50 casino with terrible range, terrible pokes, lackluster mids, and then force him to like gamble his health bar every single interaction, right? Or just be a 1-1 bot. What are they gonna do to Kuni? Because when they added Armor King into the game, they gave him a stance, right? When they added Fuck, they gave him an install. What are they going to do with Kunimitsu? And that's the main concern. Where I like the way Kuni is now, and if they were to just adapt her character over, without doing too many crazy changes, I'd be perfectly fine with it. And I'm much more of a like, bro, my friends are gonna not believe when I say this. I'm much more of a is what it is type of person when it comes to characters, right? Like if I see a character in a game and they put these moves together and they decided, hey, this is the balance of the kit, this is where we're gonna do with this is the moves, right? I prefer to preserve the uniqueness and the utility of the move and just plus or minus the scales. Like, I guess it's perfect example of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In Yu-Gi-Oh! They do not errata. Alright, that's something they do not like to do. And an errata is a complete rewrite of a card, like, and its effect. So let's say you have a card called Ladybug Killer, and it's every type, let's say, if you have this card face up on the field, every insect monster dies. Like, every insect monster gets destroyed. That's inherently fucking broken. Right? Unless you have it balanced around its summoning requirements. And let's say it's like dirt cheap. Let's say it's just a 2-star monster, just an effect. You put it on the board, summon it, no cost, no nothing, put it down, boom. All insect monsters for the rest of the game gone, broken, objectively. And errata would be going, no, we can't have this in the game. They'll just go, that's not the effect anymore, and they change it. A perfect example is a move that I hope returns to Tekken 8. Like, I really, 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 really hope it returns to Tekken 8. Is 4-forward 4-2. Alright. 4-forward 4-2 is a cool move because if you do 4-4-4, it's 9-frame startup. And you're like, okay, why would you want that? That's why. And it's absurdly strong, right? It's absurdly strong. If you can pull off the execution for it, if you can react in time to get like under 10-frame punishes. But I know for a fact that like the fact that this move is strong because essentially it's faster than jabs. It's a wall splat. It's forward advancing. And it's a weapon move, so you can't parry. I've never said that Kunimitsu didn't have crazy shit. Okay? I didn't play this game in the heyday. I didn't play this game in its prime. I didn't play it when everyone was like really like, you know, when a fan base is really bitching about something. Like right now in the Marvels community, right now Hela, Phoenix, Bucky, 3 like crazy characters. They're doing things that just ruin your game when you run into them. It's just unfun, right? I could imagine running into a Kunimitsu who does that as a punish on a move that's -10, and you get wall splat and you die. And I've noticed that in Tekken 8, they don't allow you to have 10-frame wall splatting moves. Right? This is actually like single-handedly one of the biggest moves that I want to return for this character, as it being literally one of my mains. I don't care if it's selfish. I'm sorry, I just don't. It's actually just one of the like moves I genuinely do not care about being selfish about. I find it inherently interesting because you have to understand my perspective. When I first started to learn about games or about fighting games, and especially started with Tekken, right? The concept is that 10 is the fastest move. Anything else is an exception. And to see that this character has an exception and a 4-forward move is inherently interesting to me. Alright? And if they wanted to make it that when you did it, it's launch punishable the way it is now, right? So if you do this and you're wrong, you die. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm genuinely fine with that. To have a 9-frame startup move, alright, that wall splats, if I'm off by a single frame, I should die. I'm completely fine with that. Same thing with Flash, same thing with like anything else that has absurdly strong, like absurdly fast frame capabilities, right? If I do a flash from Yoshi, which would give me a full combo to kill you, having it that I die if they literally anticipate it or I miss somehow is perfectly fine. If they want to get a full combo, that's fine with me. That's balance, right? Minus 20 flash, it's okay, because it doesn't change the fact that I was planning on flashing you. Meaning, I'm trying to catch you when you aren't anticipating it. That's when you flash. You do it when you think they're not aware or they're not waiting for it. So if you catch me doing it at the wrong time and you punish me for it, like a whiff punish, or you do like a backswing blow into a wall, like, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do after I mess that flash, if you have the correct timing for it, you should be able to do. Right? You should be able to do. And I think it's the same thing with Kunimitsu. This move should return. Because let's say you're fighting Arena, and she does like that double-handed like Kamehameha pose with the electricity, and she like smacks it. It goes, I forget what she does, what the noise she does, but it's like electricity, and she like puts her hands out. That move is minus 10. If I'm facing Arena who's spamming that as part of her like flowchart combo sequence, and I'm on Kuni, right? Because keep in mind, Kuni drops in March, and I'm on Kuni. I myself should be able to like mentally prep myself for, okay, here it's about to come 4 forward on like block stun, 4 forward during block stun. Because you can do that, do the 4 forward while I'm like through the block stun, buffer it, and do 4-2, and then get your knockdown. And something tells me that they're going to remove the wall splat, which I don't want. I don't want it, because I want my tool to be absurdly strong. Right? I want it to be absurdly strong with you die if it's wrong aspect. And that's the characters that I like. I like glass cannons. I like if I have the read and I have the execution for it, that I can respond to something you're doing with an explosive response, which forces your behavior in another way. It doesn't mean you automatically lose as if you're dealing with a Brian and he can do taunt jet upper like every single time. If you're facing a Brian who can do taunt jet upper consistently, you kind of just lose anytime you get knocked down. And then since he has all those like that plus on block move, since he has heavy like hatchet moves that make you want to duck, right? He kind of essentially forces you to respond. He can manage the neutral. He can play incredibly safe. It feels like facing Brian, you just lose unless you're like the person you're facing is foulable. Facing me probably feels insufferable. Facing me probably feels like suffocating to have a Brian who can do good. Like Low High was doing taunt gen uppers back to back to back. Facing players who can do those things probably feels inescapable. But just don't do a minus fucking 10 move. And I guess the only issue is that since it's minus 9, since it's 9 frame startup, right? The issue there is that you can use it as a punish for literally everything if they're at the wall. So you'd be getting a wall splats punish for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You know what I mean? Like, it would be giving you a good wall splat option for all of those ranges, which means at the wall, Kunimitsu would be an incredibly oppressive, on top of her already being like a rush down sort of character, right? And she comes from the same like school of thought as Yoshimitsu with like full crouch 3 being an option, right? Having like this low Monty spin kicks, right? So you can understand why I picked Yoshimitsu and Kunimitsu because they feel very similar, just in slightly two different like branches. Where Yoshi is like counter hit timing, this is like rush down timing, right? These are two different groups. So to have two characters with very unique aesthetics, right? Very evasive, fast-paced times, and honestly, that don't feel as like overly complicated. Because people say Yoshi's complicated. I don't think Yoshi's complicated. I think his tools are so awkward to use that it feels complicated moving around people, and that's the difference, right? Where like Kuni is very simple and rushed down. So, I like if I could give myself two moves, just two bullshit moves, right? Two bullshit moves, like where it's just like keep this exactly the same. 4 forward, 4-2 has to stay the same. Has to stay the same. I just has to. Like this move, when they said they're dropping Kuni, this move popped into my head. Keep in mind, I don't play Kuni online. I wasn't here to play Kunimitsu in tournaments. I wasn't here to play Kuni in the ranked ladder. I have zero experience actually playing Kunimitsu. And this was the first move that popped into my head because I remember thinking, oh, this move is incredibly strong, but you have to be ready to rip it exactly when you need to. You have to be ready for it. And if you're wrong, you die. And as like a person, like as someone who's made it to Tekken King, so I can say at the very least I get some of the more like core aspects of Tekken as far as like basic balance. Having something like this is incredibly strong. It's incredibly strong. And if they want to make her other parts of her kits more bare bones to accommodate the fact of this tool, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't care. If the character is on the weaker end of the spectrum, but has this move that the other person has to watch out for, I'd be perfectly fine. I'd be perfectly fine with it. And like I think I'm more fine with mirror matches because like Morari Zo, I don't actually like that character because she's much more 50-50 like force mix up. Like her stripper pole stance, whatever you want to call it, has an issue. My personal issue is instead of thinking of like stances in the broad terms of there's a low, there's a mid, there's a high. It's like what situations are you having to prevent in that stance, right? Because Mary Zo has a fast hitting high, right, with like a mid follow up. And that's just if you're trying to press when she has advantage, right? And I think even if she transitions on your block, you could still beat that move, or it like I can't remember if it beats you, or if it beats you, or if you can still beat it if she transitions on your block into it. Like on reaction, you can just like jab it or beat it. Can't remember, but I do know she then has a low and a mid. She has a homing, heat engaging mid, right? A homing, heat engaging mid. That's the same speed as her hell sweep. And I don't care if they're both 40 damage. I'm still forced to take a fucking 50-50 guess with zero option selects to it. Like there's actually zero, and it's unreactable too. It's not like, oh, they're the same speed, it's a 50-50 guess, but you can react to the low and launch her for it. They're both unreactable 18 frames and stop you and disincentivize you from moving. Because you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna take a bet that it's the low and sidestep, alright, forgetting the mid exists even though it's homing, and go, no, that doesn't work because the low also homes, right? The low isn't a homing move, but it still tracks your sidestep, which is ridiculous. So the low tracks your sidestep, the homing mid tracks your sidestep, and it's a mid, so you can't duck it. So there's literally no like in between. There's no option select there besides like power crush or rage art. So I have to power crush and hope she doesn't do the low, because it's too fast for me to do a hop kick, even if she's doing a negative. Alright, even if she does it plus like with like a heat smash, right? So I think if I'm remembering correctly, if she's negative while doing it, you can interrupt, but you have to be immediate. Like you have to do it instantly. In which case, which incentivizes her to use the high, which you can duck under a launch, blah blah blah. There's things you can do. I'm not saying there's nothing you can do. There's always something you can do. In the words of GM himself, right? Fighting GM. Every move in this game has counterplay, right? Every move in the game has counterplay. It's just that some of the counterplay is like, bro, basically, if I don't, basically, if I take this risk in any way, even in something as minor as like a sidestep block, I'm putting my life at stake to the maximum degree when it shouldn't be that way off of a 50-50 guess. It's brain dead easy just to press, oh, are you gonna guess here? And don't get me wrong, if you guess right, let's say you duck and you block the low, she dies. If you block the mid, nothing happens. But she could just keep doing the mid and I guess nothing happens. Really. Unless you just start like interrupting her, which again, Labder, like a minute ago, but I can't fully remember all of the counterplay off the top of my head, right? So if they wanted to make it where there's reactability, sidesteps with Kunimitsu, like it isn't just brain dead rush down slop, I would be perfectly fine with that in exchange of having this move still be this strong. I genuinely do. I do want this move to stay as strong as it is. And if people go, oh, that move's not that strong anyway, hey, bro, I think it's strong, and I'm gonna keep using it. I like that move because I like the move, one, because of the versatility, and two, for the ability to do something like this. All right, I don't even care if they made it like have zero tracking at all. Like if they had made this where like a single sidestep whiffs it, that'd be cool. I'd be fine with that. But as it seems so far, it seems to have like the tracking of a running move. Alright. And to be fair, that was steps. So let's try to walk. Yeah, it tracks for some reason. I think this move should not track. In exchange for the strength of being able to wall splat and being 9-frame startup, I think it should not track to either side, right? And if they make this a fucking heat engager, I'm gonna be so upset. Actually, no. I think if this was a heat engager, if they made it a heat engager, it literally cannot launch. It cannot launch. It has to be a knockdown heat engager. It has to be. Because you cannot make a 9-frame launcher like Flash. And that's another reason why I was so interested in it, because like the concept of Flash being a move that allows you to predict something or react to something with a button to launch that's that quickly is like, it's an outlier. It's a unique move. It's a glass cannon ability. But that's enough about that move. There's other moves in her kit that I really found like was cool. Obviously this dashing is like a neutral skip. I think we all know about neutral skips in the year 2025 and 2026, with like Street Fighter and Tekken having a bunch of neutral skips in the first place. And if you don't know what a neutral skip is, it's, hey, you see the space in between me and the other Kuni? This is the neutral. This is where we're poking. This is where we're like, what was the inputs? I think it was like, yeah, something like that. See how like if I'm working my way in, doing pokes, right? This is the neutral. No one's at an advantage. And then when I do stuff on block, right, we're no longer in the neutral because I'm on top of the person, right? But if you have the ability to go, fuck all that, now I'm inside on a mix-up, it's different, right? Because now this is truly, like, you know what I mean? We're going from here to guess real life and guess real life, right? So yeah, I like objectively Kunimitsu is a strong character, and this because the end of Tekken 7, again, I wasn't there, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Tekken 7 had the curse of DLC characters broken towards the end of it, either for sale reasons or they just balance the team while they try new stuff, or fucking like a combination of both. But Kunimitsu has certain things that are super easy to do that fundamentally are strong on characters, especially Tekken characters. Having a neutral skip is incredibly strong, right? Having a dash like this is incredibly strong because now any sort of pressure, as far as like keep out, is intensified because you can dash up block. There's no need for like dashing a block normally where you're actually doing the inputs and blocking, where there's some sort of like mechanical like there's some mechanical emphasis or what's the word I'm looking for? Responsibility? I think emphasis might be the right word. Like the emphasis on being mechanically sound and maintaining a calm mental and steadily pressing the right amount of buttons and making good timing isn't on Kunimitsu when she does it, right? So when you dash up, you can cancel it at any point, right? But if you're doing a regular dash, you have to physically move your hands more, which introduces more periods of error, which means it makes it more impressive when you see someone do it for longer periods of time, as well as some people can, right? And it may seem small, but it's a very big thing when you look at a character and you know that that person's literally not doing anything, when they're just pressing 3 buttons and all the movements and all like the evasiveness. Like, think about Lars. If you see a Lars player, you go, oh, he's playing a single player game right now, and he's just seeing if his RNG is good on whether or not I've labbed this move or not. That's all Lars players do. They're just gambling. They're just gambling. They're not actually there playing Tekken. They're just dancing in your face and praying you don't know the matchup. Which, of course, you don't know the matchup. No one likes fucking Lars. No one likes playing against Lars. Like, this move here is a counter hit launcher. I'm trying to see. Can I? See? Counter hit launcher. I'm trying to remember the combo. Something like that. Yeah. So it's a counter hit launching low. Alright. That high crushes. So from over here, dash in. Now I'm was full screen. Now I'm in your face. And you have to take a mix up from there. Where the low, that's a slide that crushes highs. Right? So from tip range, it still works. So if they want to add like a clean hit effect, I think that'd be perfectly fine. Where you have to have a certain amount of like distance in the first place for it to actually work. Like you have to get a certain amount of contact for the launch. Sure. Alright, I'm cool with that. But it's a counter hit launcher that ducks highs, right? That's full screen, meaning you can essentially use this, like you can, back here, now you're in. Now they have to deal with you. Alright. On top of that, if we check something really quickly, it's launch punishable. So if you block it, Kuni dies. Alright. And if they want to make it even, if they want to make it a stagger, like make it even more negative, like they make it minus 20, right? I'll be really okay with that too. But that shit there, where if you're at the right distance, it's not minus 16, it's minus 14. That has to go. No. The variance in that aspect of how, like, if it's launch punishable or not, that cannot be a thing. if you want Kunimitsu to not be a fucking cesspool, it has to be consistently launchable no matter the distance. Because why are we rewarding a person for doing a full screen slide? Why is that? Why are we rewarding them for basically being full screen, running away the entire time, and then coming in with a counter hit slide to get full combo? And it's Tekken 8, so everyone has crazy damage, everyone has crazy combos, so she's not doing 60, she's doing 80 to 90 until they nerf her, that she's going to be doing around 80, and then on top of that, there's going to be crazy, like, she's going to be a rushdown character. She's going to be a rushdown character in a game where it's easy to attack people in the first place. And that inherently is going to give her extra damage through mental frames and, like, mental stack. So, like, this character objectively is going to be annoying to face if they make it. Oh, you don't get to launch. That's -11. Wrong punish. No, that needs to go. That needs to full go. I don't care. I don't care if it was like, oh, you made the right decision on how far you are. It's like, the recovery frames for the move need to be longer if that's how you're going to have it. And you also need to make the range for the dash shorter if that's how you're going to have it. Where if it's perfect ranged, I need to actually have to, like, contemplate, will I reach it or not? Because there's no reason a slow, that's a counter hit launching low, that's evasive, right, that can go full screen, should ever be safe. -11 is basically safe, especially when you know that move's normally launchable. So you have to, like, surmise from yourself, oh, is this the right distance on top of your opponent? Like, it's just too much. It's just too much for how good of a move it is. There's too much variance. Especially since there's a mix-up in forward 3-2, right? Has a cool animation. Full combo. If this counter hits, and here's the thing. The reason that I can say that for a fact I know Kuni can be allowed to be ported over in a very similar way as in Tekken 7, right? And just toned down because they're gonna add heat, which is gonna make up for the power loss, is because they removed key charge. And key charge is important because key charge makes it that you make it that you cannot block, and in exchange it makes it that you can, every hit you do is a counter hit. So if I can key charge, sorry for me to key charge. I'm trying to key charge. There we go. So if I key charge, counter hit, right? And you're like, so what? It gives you a free counter hit, which means if you do a move, you can attack. But they'll just react to your move, or they'll just do whatever. Wrong. Because if you give a character a counter hit lows, right, people are gonna block normally for the mids, because the mids normally fucking kill you. The mids normally, like, are the reason you die. The highs control you, the mids kill you, and the lows agitate you, right? Or the lows open you up. So they're not going to want to duck for the lows because the highs, because the mids are usually the thing that's going to kill them. But if you give someone a counter hit low, if I could ever do it again, I'm not gonna be able to. There we go. If you give someone a counter hit low that launches for full combo, and you give them a counter hit mid that launches for full combo, it's like, that's crazy. Because, well, that's not even crazy alone in a vacuum, because many characters have counter hit mids that launch for full combo. Some characters have counter hit lows that launch for full combo, right? Like Yoshimitsu has like a full crouch forward is one of them. The issue is they both come from the same stance. Like, right? This dash forward stance, you can do dash forward 2, counter hit launching mid, or dash forward 3, counter hit launching low. And the low is a slide, so it has mad range, right? And the mid may not have as much range, but it's still a weapon move, so you can't even parry it. So if you can't parry the mid, you can't use an option select off of that, right? You can't do shit about the low, because if you low parry off of the key charge setup, right? So essentially, it creates an actual 50-50 because you're not gonna press off of a key charge setup, and your best guess, right, is to power crush, not even power crush, because the low beats it. Like, it's just such a scuffed scenario to deal with on what do I do? What do I do in this scenario? I'm not saying there's nothing you can do. There's probably plenty of things you can do, right? Let's say I key charge and I'm coming in the mid 12 frames, right? So it's a counter hit launching mid at 12 frames, and the low is 18. The mid is safe. So let's say you're scared of this mid because it kind of hit launches you, so you don't duck, and you're a victim to this, right? So if I hit you with it, you get hit with a full combo, and then I key charge again, and then I go in with the mid. I risk nothing with the mid, and that's the truth. That's genuinely the truth. Where even though it's like, okay, you're making that you can't block, you're making it that you yourself cannot block any attack that I do, so you're leaving yourself wide open. Alright? If I do this mid for information, I lose nothing. It's fast enough to interrupt anything you're doing off of a forward advancing stance that skips the neutral. So, like, there's no, like, I don't even have to, I actually do not have to set up a situation where I knock you down to make you guess. I can just be back here where you can't reach me, and then if I can ever do it, because I'm doing it without a bind, I could key charge, and now you have to guess for your life from full screen, right? Because I come in a little bit closer, and then either this or this, and either one, if you guess wrong, you die. And the funny part is, that's what Tekken 8 feels like for the most part. Right? Tekken 8 feels like you're choosing between two options that spiral out of control and kill you. But I know for a fact that this is worse than anything we have in Tekken 8, or for most of what we have in Tekken 8. Because this truthfully is actually a problem. Like, this here actually is a problem for these to both be counter hit launchers and key charge exist in the game. But they removed key charging. They made it that key charging only gives you extra damage, so there's no guaranteed counter hit. And they did that before they even added Kunimitsu. So my thought pattern is two different things. Either they knew they were going to add Kunimitsu, and they made the change based off of this setup specifically, or setups like this, right? Because Asuka, oh, fucking Asuka, oh, bro. Asuka and Tekken 8. Asuka and June have a thing called Can-Can. And the reason Can-Can is fucked up is a similar reason, except it's so much worse than this setup here. It's worse than this setup because it doesn't matter. Actually, I don't think it's worse. I'm lying. It's not worse, but it's really bad because Can-Can is a low-high string. I mean, not string. It's a low-high move, right? Because you just press one button for it, and what ends up happening is it goes low to high. And it's a counter hit launcher at 14 frames. So you have a 14 frame, insanely fast, counter hit launcher, crazy good stat, right? Safe on block. So it's fast as fuck, it's safe on block, and it's a launcher. So you literally have, the only risk there is to using Can-Can is, oh shit, I whiffed, which is literally every move if you whiff it, right? Or they duck the high. Like, they block the low and then they duck the high. So, if that is the case, right, and you key charge, so you get a guaranteed counter hit, and you do a knockdown move into a key charge, like you give up your turn for a key charge, and you walk up to them and you do Can-Can, you get another combo. So if you did like 60 to 70 damage drop the combo on purpose, key charge into can, you do another like 80 damage. You get from 70 plus 80, right? It's like 160, 150. You get like a 150 to 160 damage combo for basically free. And then it's like, it's a knowledge check, yes. Like, don't get me wrong, that's the reason why the can situation with counter hit with the key charge isn't as bad, because that's a knowledge check, right? Except the fucking Kazamas also have other moves and mids that are launchers as defensive tools, right? So you have like the most defensively clashed characters in the game with also some of the dumbest attack moves in the game, right? Where if you think, okay, they're gonna run up and do can, I need to block low, they could just not do can and just do something else that is also a launcher, and you're fucked, right? Like June has lasers, so if you're like, I'm gonna press a button to try to counteract her, and that should be your game plan. Now you're mixing between laser and can, right? And I'm not saying there's never a way to get out of these moves. Of course there is, but it's ridiculous when the answer to fighting back against the move isn't to like fight the move itself. It's to fight the person who's using the move. Like, oh yeah, he likes to do this too often. All right, he's probably gonna do can. Let me block low and stand up. That's so hyper specific that it doesn't account for anything else. Which of course is again how fighting games work in some aspects, but you have to acknowledge how dumb some of these situations can be. Like, you just have to, right? Like, I'm not one to shy away from saying, hey, at some point we're just bitching a bitch when it comes to like fighting games, right? Being like, oh, Yoshimitsu's flash is a launcher. Okay. It's 8 frames, okay? He's doing it all the time, okay? Have you tried not pressing? Have you tried slowing down? Alright? Have you tried frame trapping it? And if the answer is yes, and you're still getting flashed by it, you're being outplayed. And if the answer is no, then you just need to do those things. And if you, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things where it's like, you can understand why people are agitated, but you cannot endorse them being bad players. You know what I mean? And this is actually genuinely one of the things that I specifically remember. Because keep in mind, I haven't looked at any move list so far. This is one of the few things I remember specifically thinking, yeah, if this actually gets brought over and key charge still exists, it would not be fair. It would not be okay. Right? Because a key charge from this distance into this, there's literally nothing you can do unless you're Kunimitsu, and then you just do this, right? You know what I mean? Like, unless you whiff punish. So then you have to stay on top of Kunimitsu, who is a female character, so she has good side steps, who also has this move, which is, I'm pretty sure a counter hit launcher. Oh, no, it's not. There was some move that like was a counter hit launcher. That was good. Oh well. But yeah, those were like some of the like these are some of the, like the ideas that I have so far. Alright. I'm gonna go through the move list, see what else there is. Alright, as far as like, cause these are the two things like my brain immediately like spoke out to. Like that was an immediate. Let's see, move list. What was her rage drive? I actually don't remember what her rage drive was. +6, 16 frame move, forward advancing, has wall stun. Oh, so like, I totally forgot that like rage drives are just heat smashes. Rage drives are just heat smashes. Wait, no, that's actually so broken. That's so broken. The fact that like, so like rage drives and heat smashes being basically the same thing makes a lot of sense as far as like the progression of the games. But like the idea that this rage drive basically almost full screens and wall splats kind of reminds me a lot of Jin's Heat Smash, Law's Heat Smash, Yoshi Heat Smash, all of the Heat Smashes that for whatever reason wall splat you on a free mix-up button that like there's no downside to Heat Smashing. There's like actually almost no downside. And if you're like your downside is like they could sidestep it, okay, and moves should be able to be sidestepped unless they're specifically designed to not be sidestepped because they give up something else in return. Like if you have a homing high, it's a high, it's probably 18, 17 frames fast, and specifically designed to stop sidestepping. Dude, I truly stand on the concept that having your homing move also be a heat engager is kind of fucking toxic, right? If it's a mid, right? Perfect example is Steve. Why does Steve have a mix-up with a guard break high? A guard break high. So it literally, you cannot block it. You have to duck. It's like a grab, except it's more annoying, right? So it's a guard break high, which leads into decent damage with a mid that is homing, is a mid, so it directly counteracts you from ducking the fucking high, but is also a heat engager. So you don't want to get guard broken. You're scared of getting guard broken. So literally like free damage. You duck mid, you get hit. So now your thought pattern is just stand up. The thought pattern is just stand up. Just fucking stand up. In fact, I think the guard break high is slow enough that you can interrupt it with a jab, but the mid isn't. If it's been a while since I labbed Steve. So that's the 50-50 between guard break high and homing heat engager mid. And you'd be like, oh, it'd be balanced if they just removed it that the mid wasn't homing. The high is also unsteppable. the guard break high also is unsteppable. You can't step it. It is like a sweeping motion from right to left. So if you can't step either of the options, you're forced to take a guess. And that doesn't feel good. Even if the result of getting guard broken is only like 40, 50 damage, even though 50 damage is a lot. I don't give a fuck. 50 damage is a lot. And a lot of throws are around 40 damage. Right? But they're breakable. And that's why throws are never been seen as like overpowered, right? Or busted. Except if it's like a launching throw, right? Is because on reaction, right, when you get hit by the throw, you can go, no. There's a skill check you can pass to go, no, this throw doesn't hit me. But when you're forced to take a 50-50 between something that punishes you for blocking, like blocking mid, the same way you like to counteract something else, the two other mids in the stance, it punishes you for that, which then forces you to duck, which means you would get punished by the two mids you're trying to counteract. And the whole thing stops you from sidestepping, so you have to guess. that feels incredibly dog shit. And the fact that they turned Steve into this guest casino character, and every single thing he does leads into this fucking like flicker bull. Like, bro, it's just not fun. It's just not fun fighting Steve. Low level Steve, high level Steve, it doesn't matter, right? Because then if it's a low level Steve and it's a skill issue and I learn the character matchup, I just beat them and it wasn't fun because they're fucking terrible at the game and they're over reliant on a cheese character. Yes, Steve is fucking cheese, right? Then I get to a higher level where they don't have that weakness anymore. They've trained themselves out of them and it's actually unbearable to play against. That's the in-between. So I have to find the perfect middle ground of players who aren't hitting me with like bullshit that's boring, but also aren't using the super good but cheesy bullshit the game is providing to them. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. It just doesn't. That's like you face a Yoshimitsu that doesn't flash. If they do not flash, that's not because they don't think Flash is a good move, and they forgot Flash existed. They're exploring other parts of the toolkit, right? They're focusing on poking, right? And the thing is, if you think Flash is the bullshit part of the game and you want to avoid it, sure, I'll give it to you. I'll just say Flash is bullshit. It's annoying, right? If the only way, think this way, if someone is spamming Flash, they immediately die for it. Right? You can immediately punish them for it. And it's not even complicated. There's no muscle memory involved. You simply just do a thing and then do nothing and then follow up with something. If there's a Steve spamming stance transition like into Lionheart mix-up, because it's not Flicker, it's Lionheart, into Lionheart mix-up, you have to eat the mix-up. If you're getting flashed by Yoshi, it's a choice. You have the choice. He literally cannot flash you without your consent. And that's the most important part, where most times you're getting mixed up, right? What makes a good mix-up is your consent, right? The mix-up is with your willing engagement to the mix-up, where you're actively choosing something, and then that choice informs them and they make an educated guess based on your behavior and conditioning. But so far Tekken 8 has been, without your permission, there's going to be several options that no matter what I hit are going to do very good, and if I don't hit them, sure, you get your punish, but it's not going to be as good as right? If I hit that move, you're basically dead. If you hit your punish, you still have to work. And that's the imbalance. It's an inherently imbalance, where there's a lot of safe move. There's a lot of moves that even if you get your punish, it's lackluster. There's a lot of moves where it's still my turn afterwards. That's the inherent imbalance that I hope they don't give to Kunimitsu, because she was already viewed by some people, right, as an easy DLC character in the first place, which, sure, maybe she is easy, right? If they make it that her heat engagers are bullshit, if they make it that her stances are still like Ooga right? If they give her a bunch of bullshit, it's going to be unfun. Like, I didn't play Ana. Keep that in mind. I own Ana the character. The DLC character of Ana Williams, I own her. I do not play the character. One, because she's a waifu, and I don't really fuck with waifus. And two, she's incredibly busted. I genuinely believe, right, if I were to take the time and learn Ana Williams' movesets, I could get out of blue rank in like 3 days. In 3 days. Just first day, learn the moves. Like if I really hardcore spend the first day mindset, grinding, learning the moves, getting the combos down, right? And in a situation where, like, screw 3 days. Give me a week. Give me a week, and I'm in fucking Tekken King. And it's only a week, because since I'm so new to Tekken in the first place, I still have to get used to learning other characters, right? And the week is just so that I can, one, I have work, in two specifically. In fact, if it's like I don't have work and it's just me, full stop, just playing the game, I'm getting into Tekken King on Ana in like 4 days. The first day is simply learning all the moves, right? Learning the combos, right? Second day is getting muscle memory in, right? And then the third and fourth day is just me playing and getting the Tekken King and then taking a break because I get bored of playing a character so easy. It's simple. Like no character with a full screen launching sweep, right? That's insanely hard to react because it's like 20 frames. It's unreactable, and the animation for it is also very poor. So you can't react to that either. Like it's just bad. It's just bad. Like everything about Ana just pisses everyone off. And when you see Ana online, it's just like, bro, what are you doing? Like why are you willingly ruining other people's gameplay day? Like games by playing an obviously busted character. It just isn't fun. So if they do the same thing for Kunimitsu, a character who is indeed rushed down the same, it's not going to be a fun time. It's not going to be a fun time for me because I have no choice but to play her. I actually do not have a choice, bro. I will play Kunimitsu. That's just how it is. I will be playing Kunimitsu. It's my main. I can't help but to. This string of mix-ups, I wonder if that will still be here. It'd be hard to imagine that it isn't, because Kunimitsu is such an interesting character where I find it particularly interesting. All of these are definitely probably annoying to think about as far as like, oh, 1-1 has all these mix-ups, alright? But like, all of these I think all of these are interruptible via jab. All of these are like sidesteppable. They all have weaknesses. They're not too particularly bad. Like 1-1 into stance. It definitely does seem like 1-1 into stance is something that's picked up in Tekken 8, so she would feel right at home. Like all the in DLC characters basically feel like Tekken 8 characters, but in Tekken 7, right? That's what it feels like, because Lydia, Eddie Gordo, are basically the blueprint for Tekken 8 as far as its aggression, it's fast-paced, it's mix-ups, right? Where it's constantly staying-spaced. And it's interesting to see how each character from a past game gets a new stance. I don't think Yoshi got a new stance, no. Yoshi didn't get a new... Yoshi literally didn't get a new stance. He just got new stance transitions because he's a stance... basically a stance character, right? So, when you take a character like Kuni, who is objectively a stance character, she is objectively stance rush down, hands down, that's just what her character archetype is, you can't really add another stance to it. So you can't really, like, bullshit on top of it. You get what I mean? Like, you can make the numbers overtuned, but you can't add a stance. With, like, Anna Williams, they gave her another stance, and then they gave her a low. Like a safe and block low. Right? So, like, if they're taking characters like Heihachi wouldn't be considered a stance character. No, not in 7. They made him a stance character in 8. You know what I mean? Where like everything's leaning towards stance, so I feel like my character is much more safe in that transition, where she won't be that bastardized. Like think about Armor King. Armor King got transitioned over, right? They gave him a stance. That was the tax. That's the Tekken 8 tax, bro. You don't got a stance? Now you got a stance. Welcome into the party. But she already has a stance. So maybe, just maybe, fingers crossed, they won't do some, like, bogus bullshit, like give her another stance, and then make tons of, like, OP bullshit on the stance. You know what I mean? Like, I think if they just port the character over, and then just, like, adjust, like, the backdash for... You know what I mean? Adjust the backdash for Tekken 8 system for however fast they want it to be. Right? if they want to adjust the sidestep, like just basically port her over and adapt her to the system. Like give her heat moves, give her heat smash, her heat burst, all that stuff. I think the way she is now would fit in pretty well. Like, I feel like there was so much cool mix-up depth here. Right? Stuff like that. Stuff like that. I just hope there's a healthy mix of like weaknesses. Yeah, something like this, like 2-2-2, forward into a dash, -4 for the transition. Like, it's interesting to like have certain characters have transitions that are negative on block into the transition, because in 8s it felt like there for a minute there were certain characters who just like got to transition on your block while being plus for some reason. I can't think of whoever. There was someone who was doing it. I know Yoshi has a weird move where he can go into the stand, like he can do Kencho forward 1+2 and be +14 into Flea, which means he can do like a low mix up or like a mid mix up, and it's not too scary. But then from Flea, he can do forward 2, which is +7 on block, into a Dragonfly mix up. Like into like the frame trap mix up, which would then enforce, if you kept doing the same flowchart, it would then enforce, if you ever seen like Dragonfly and do it on your block, that +7, you would know, oh, he's plus here, or like I can't respond here, because it pushes back. It would enforce the fact that his frame trap of 2-4 is real. That jab, which also is +7. The jab is +7. So Yoshi can do a +7 move. Yoshi can do sidestep 4, which is sidestep 4 Kencho, which is like +3 or +5, can't remember, into forward 1+2, which is +14, transition into Flea, into forward 2, which is +7, into Dragonfly, into 2, a high move, which is +7, and then do an actual like mix up from there. So there's like 4 interactions where if you press anything, you lose, right? You have to know exactly what's going on, right? And you can go, oh, just duck. Cool. Yeah. It's very easy to say just duck when you literally are going from stance to stance to stance with crazy mids. Like, unironically, if Yoshimitsu hits you with Dragonfly 4 and he's already in heat, you die. Because he just does heat dash for the final mix-up. Because keep in mind, we'll do a counter. There's sidestep 4, Kencho, which is plus frames into stance. That's 1. Into forward 2, which is +14 into Flea, right? So that's the second plus frames into stance. So that's the second mid, mind you. The second plus frames into the second mid plus on block mid into stance, right? And then from Flea, you do forward 2, which is another which is plus on block high. That's 3. Into 2 from Dragonfly, which is plus on block high at +7, into Heat Dash Dragonfly 4, which is like +5. So that's 5 interactions where he's plus on block, and there was literally nothing you could have done to interrupt. You can't interrupt, so you have to guess high or low. And for the first like, for the first 2 you can't duck. you have to know exactly that you can duck after the second. I mean, after the second one, you can duck. And if he doesn't go into the high and he just does the mid immediately for the heat dash just to go in to like try to like do Monty spin kicks to cheese you, and you fucking press, you die because he gets full combo and then you're at the wall. It's inherently obnoxious, and the point isn't that it's impossible to deal with or it's impossible to like make the right decision. It's that inherently it's a guess to go from such high frame amount to such high frame amount to such high frame amount. Like to be that disadvantaged continuously, and essentially you have to make a guess when you're that disadvantaged. So you have to go from guess to guess to guess to guess to guess. And if you're wrong at any point in time, you may just die for it. You can die if you get hit by sidestep 4 on Yoshimitsu in a Kencho, because that's a counter hit launcher. So you get comboed. Unless you don't press there and you press into when he does the forward 1+2, sure you don't get launched. But then now you're in a fucking mix. Right? Now you're in a mix for it. Oh, is he going to do forward 2? In fact, if now you're in a mix that if you press and he does forward 2 from Flea, that's a counter hit launcher which he can cancel into full combo, right? Or he does the launching mid, which is a launcher to full combo, or he does the launching low or the low, which I think with certain setups, or if you don't press a button, you can be launched into full combo. So then you just eat that, right? And then you just block and he does forward 2, and now you're guessing that if he does the fucking mid, you get counter hit launched into combo. If he does the low, you get launched into combo. If he does the high, you aren't launched, but then you're getting, actually you do get launched, but it's like a mini combo. So either way, through that entire string, it's a minefield. And you could be like, oh yeah, just fucking sidestep. Sure. Yes, sidestep is a very valid choice. That actually will get you out of a lot of it, except forward 2 is a homing high. A counter hit homing high. So you better pray. You have to do it before that. You have to. And Dragonfly 4 also has tracking to it a little bit. And you're also minus off of the fucking sidestep for 1+2 Kencho, you know what I mean? So that means you're minus in the first place at around 5, so it's gonna be hard to sidestep into a 14 frame move. You can't sidestep that, and then you can't sidestep forward 2 because that's homing. And then from there, you have to make the decision to sidestep and pray that he doesn't do forward 1+2 from Dragonfly if he's in heat, because that's plus on block. You see what I mean? Where like this wide ranging thing off of simply just I want to go into stance with plus frames on Yoshimitsu has led you down a path where if you are wrong, you are taking some major punish. While if you're right, while risking your life, you either, 1, get a launcher because you sidestepped, or 2, you get nothing because you made the right guess and you blocked. And inherently taking that sidestep risks your life more because you're pressing a button. It's the same thing as just going, oh, I'm going to press the button like jab. Even more so because at least jab is a hurt box, is a hitbox, and that hitbox could interrupt something if it's like fast enough. You know what I mean? Like you're potentially throwing your life away. And if they do the same thing where they add a bunch of plus on block stance transitions for this character, it's gonna be like, what are we doing? Because now that I think about it, I can't think of any plus on block anything for this character. Like no, unironically, I can't think of any move that when you do it, you get plus frames for doing said move on block. And Yoshi is also an archetype who doesn't have anything like that. In fact, the only move I could think, because I thought of Yoshi, was this move. This move here, they'll probably tone down the same way they tone down Yoshi's. Because in Tekken 8, Yoshimitsu's up 3+4, this sort of like I'm portaling away move, it's like +2 on block. Sure, it's a counter hit launcher. Am I still counter? Yeah. Yeah. Can't remember the combo. Yeah, something like that. So, boop. This shit's kind of ass. I'm not gonna hit this. Screw it, we'll just do the non-optimal one, like this. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button, aren't I? Yeah, there we go. So, like, that's the only move I can think of to give her just objectively plus frames. Like even like this move here, minus 11. Alright? So if she daggers in and you block it, you get a punish. You get a punish. In fact, if I would be in this situation and I try to dagger, bring myself to the person, and it's another Kuni, she can do this, right? She has jab strings she can do, like 1-1 stance, right? She can sacrifice those guaranteed punish to try to get like some extra damage with like a mix, or like catch me like off guard, you know what I mean? So I can't think of anything. The thing that would make Kunimitsu broken would be the ease of use of the tools and like how far ranged and how much like ability to get in she has. Right? There would be no keeping this character out. Right? Where the mix she has is actually like dog, or like this mix and this mix. Like these tools are meant to be used in specific ways, not as a mix-up, right? Where you would possibly play more for the neutral than it would be like just try to stance mix somebody up. She's rushed down, but she's rushed down because she can close the gap like instantly. Or at least that's my very like novice, inexperienced opinion on like how the character functions with how like I understand Tekken. So for clarity's sake, I definitely do think there's like I honestly now that I'm looking at the character, I think the only thing I can say that's truly probably a problem would be this mix, right? Because these are both counter hit launchers, but that the key chart doesn't exist anymore, so that's not that big of an issue. This being a wish punish tool is mad annoying. And notice I keep doing it through the special style. This needs to go. I don't want to fight a special style Kuni ever. I don't give a fuck. You better give special style Kuni something else. Every Kunimitsu should have to manually input the fucking dagger toss. If they want to use this tool, they have to manually do it. They need to quarter circle forward like a Street Fighter. I don't give a fuck about being friendly to newbies. Alright, newbies are not the reason, not the lifeblood of your game. Alright, if you want newbies to care about doing a move, it needs to be strong and hard to do. Because this is like, oh, the move is cool, but I got it immediately, so it doesn't feel as like pressing. Like there's nothing. I genuinely, and I mean this, I genuinely work to do electrics. I genuinely like the reason I even started to do electrics in the first place, right, was because I was on Yoshimitsu, and there was a particular move on Yoshi where I was like, oh, how do I do this? Alright, this is hard. This feels like impossible. This feels complicated. How do I get this? Because remember, I'm new to Tekken. It was just like I can't seem to do this. How do I do it? Because the move itself looked cool. And that's the basis of the reason I play certain characters because they look cool. I think Kuni looks cool. I think Yoshi looks cool. This is the move. Counter hit launcher, right? I actually don't know any combos. Alright. This move being a counter hit launcher is incredibly good. 14 frame startup, counter hit launcher, good range, right? And -16 on block, right? So it's a call out tool where if you're wrong, you get punished. But if you're right, it's incredibly strong. It's incredibly fast, which means you can do something like this into that. That's basically 10 frames. I was +4, did a 14 frame move, 4 gap, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like 14 -4, 10. You have to have a 9 frame move to be able to beat that situation. Right? You'd have to have a 9 frame move to beat it. And it's such a very specific call out that even like 4-4, 4-2 wouldn't seem like the right choice in that moment because you would have to know that he's doing something right after that's like that quickly, which means any amount of pause into nothing, Kunimitsu kills herself. But this character, Yoshimitsu, and this move of Crouch Dash 2 is the only reason I learned how to do electrics. Ironically, the reason. Like I'm being so serious that like I was like, oh, to be able to do this move, it's the same motion input as the Mishimas. I should learn a Mishima, right? So I can learn how to do this move on Yoshimitsu better, or I can learn how to like do it fluidly. Because if I can learn to do it fluidly, then I could like do certain like setups. I can try to get myself plus frames. I can do it off timings. I can do like backdash into it, right? Because it's objectively a strong move, and strong tools on characters is the reason you play them, right? If I can do it, there we go. All right, cool. So like objectively, I like characters who have interesting tools, right? Having a launch hell sweep, because I don't think he has it in this game, right? Oh, that's cool. But like having a launch hell sweep is objectively a strong tool, but I like having overall, like Yoshi's spin is strong because it's evasive, but it takes his health. That's the balance. Flash is an objectively strong tool, but it's if you're wrong, you die. That's the balance. Up forward 3 gives you small amounts of plus frames, but that's not the reason you want it. You're using it up 3 + 4 is the one I'm thinking of. Is good because if you catch someone on forward advancing timing, you can use it almost like a backswing blow to catch them like moving forward and being aggressive and reverse the situation, or you can use it as a get up trap when someone tries to use low kicks or mid kicks because you're literally in the air and you get a free reset. These are very unique, cool tools that only Kunimitsu and Yoshimitsu have, right? And that's why they're interesting to play. They have like certain like non-traditional parries, right? Where it's not like a stance in which they're waiting for you. It's like they have to press in the right timing, space it out, do certain traps. It's inherently interesting gameplay where you spend a lot of time looking at your own character and how can this character win in these situations here, and here. Not like how can I generically play play the game. If you play Mishimas, you can go from playing a Mishima to playing like anyone else, and it's basically almost the same game except you don't have like electrics, right? You don't have hell sweeps. I probably don't have demon paws, right? Unless Tekken's giving certain characters demon paws. right? But like, there's just certain things you don't have. You don't have like steel petals, right? But if you play Yoshimitsu and you go to someone else, it's an entirely different game. If you play Kunimitsu and you go to someone else, it's an entirely different game. Not because the tools are like they're like oh they don't exist. It's like it's such a unique tool set and the way you play around that tool set because you lack other things because you spiked your stats in like the weird like if this was a nin tree, you basically put it into specialist. You basically spiked in specialist, so you don't have good tracking. You have pretty mediocre pokes, right? And like if you think like pokes and your thought is down forward 2, sure, bro. I'll give it to you. Down forward 2 is indeed a poke move. There are indeed moves that are pokes, right? But I'm talking about like overall pokes. Like if you're fighting on Anina, you're fighting an Anna, they can pull out a variety of moves. Jin has pokes, right? But like there's nothing that like Yoshi has besides like 2 moves, which is a safe on block down forward 2, right? That for some fucking reason, again, keep in mind Yoshimitsu is my main, Kunimitsu is my main. Both of these characters I play. In fact, Devil Jin is my main. All 3 of these characters I play. And I truly like these characters. Why in the fuck is it that in Tekken 8, Yoshimitsu's down forward 2 can duck highs? Why does a safe launcher, a safe on block launcher with the most range, like, listen, I hate when people say, oh, it has the most range of any of the type of move it is in the game. That's so broken. It's like, no, that's just a unique feature. That's just something unique about it. Right? If a move does the most damage out of all of them in the game, that doesn't make it fucking broken, right? It just means it's the most. It requires the context around it. The reason I think it's fucking broken for it to have the most range is because it's a safe on block launcher. That's like a safe on block launcher in mid, right? That has insane amounts of range that basically if you were to do down forward 2s at each other, Yoshi could take a step back and beat you. Or Yoshi could like literally just be at optimal range. Yours will whiff and his will connect. So you will lose a down forward 2 match against Yoshi. You will lose. You would just fucking lose. And then a tool that I hope they never change. I hope they never nerf it. I hope it stays this good forever, right? And you're probably like, what are you talking about? Down forward 4 is such a cool fucking move. Hold on. So for Devil Jin, right? See how this move is 13 frames, right? For Yoshi, it's different. Yoshi, it's 12. And it took me a while of like playing this game to figure out why that's good. This move being 12 is so fucking good. Oh, it's so fucking good, bro. It's so good. This is so good. This being 12 frames is so beautiful. And you're probably thinking to yourself, so what? It's 12. Okay. The reason that this being 12 frames is important, at least in my opinion, is that there's certain situations in the game where you can only escape it by having a fast button. We'll just say fast button for now. And for example, let's say you're fighting something evasive like a Lily. Let's say Lily is going into back turn on your block and she's mixing you up. You cannot use certain highs because she's evasive and then she ducks highs. So you have to use mids. And if your mids are slow, the matchup is hell because you were literally required to use fast mids to interrupt her options and force her out of that stance to like shut it down. If you want to option select it and you have slower mids, you have to like the game changes because it isn't like, oh, she stopped here. It's I have to make a guess and then another guess. So there's several rooms for error. But with Yoshi, you can shut a lot of like evasive characters down by doing this. And look how like far range it is. Right? This is a good range, right? For a 12 frame mid that's safe on block. So if you ever want to like if you don't know what to do, right? if you don't know what to do and you want to control the like spacing and pacing, right? Throwing out highs can get you killed, right? You have a 13 frame down forward 1. But if it's just like, I need to stop this now, I want this, no matter what, I just want to make sure if he's pressing a button, I want to interrupt him and cover as much as possible. You have something that's almost fucking like 11 frames, bro. Like, if you're +1 off a jab, it's basically 11. Right? There's nothing evasive in this game is in any Tekken is ever going to be as fast as a jab. Like, grabs are 12 frames and you have a mid, because mids aren't normally this fast. And it's like, okay, you get no value from it. There's no counter hit properties and you give up your turn. Yeah, you give up your turn on a character who has a 6 frame launcher. Who cares? You're -9, so 6 + 9 is what? 15. 15. So the other person to beat you has to use a 14 frame move. If they use a 16 frame move and you flash, so if I do this, they lose. They lose. That's just how it works. They lose the interaction because they decided to use a move when I gave up my turn. And it's Yoshi. Yoshi's famous for that. The point is, you have a move that allows you to control the pacing of, like, dictate what they're allowed and what they can and can't do. That has, like, decent, like, I think it's his right side tracking, right? Or left side tracking, where he can stop someone from going to a certain side and check their movements very easily with a fast button that will interrupt anything. Because it's 12 frames. They can't do anything. Right? Because it's like, oh, I wanna take a side step. No. I wanna throw, like, I want to. Okay, so I may have explained this poorly, because it's hard for me to fully come up with a concept of, like, how to explain it, even though I do understand it. So if you're in a scenario where you don't know what they're going to do, but you know that there's evasive moves in the game, so you want to throw out a mid, but you don't want to throw out any slow mids. So it's like, okay, I know they're going to do something, and I know I want to control the pacing and keep the pacing, because if I don't press, then they're going to keep pressing, and then they're going to take control over the pace, and that's wrong. I need to control the pace, right? And if you control the pace, you inherently have more advantage. You inherently have more control. So they just did their move, they ending their turn, right? They're minus whatever. I don't want to challenge with a jab, even though it's the fastest, because I can die for it if they duck, or they do an evasive turn steal move, right? I can't do a low, because that's going to be too slow, right? But I want to control the fucking pacing. I want to control their movements and, like, stop them from doing anything evasive. But what if they just do, like, something like a jab or something, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they didn't make themselves at negative and I choose to do a mid, or there was a mix-up and there was, like, a pause in timing, you have both a fast move in 12 frames, fast as a jab, right? A little bit slower than a jab by 1 frame, right? And then you have a mid, so you can lock down movement. And it's like, okay, sure, you don't get much damage. It doesn't matter for the damage, because you're using it not to kill, you're using it to restrict. You're using it to control. You're using it as a no, because it reaches out straight in front of you, right? So no, you can't come in. It's keep out. So it's keep out, it's movement restriction, and it's fast too. So it's 3 great qualities in a move, and then it's safe on block as well. So 4 great qualities. Giving it high damage would be asking for too much. Giving it counter hit properties would be asking for too much. It's just objectively, at this point in time, you cannot say that this is a terrible move. The only thing they could do to make this move any better is make it less negative, and that would just be asking for too much. Any basic move like this where it's not some super flashy move, it's just like a kick, right? And it's like this fast. You cannot bloat it with too many effects, or it just becomes too strong. It just becomes too strong. Because from doing this, I can shut you down from like 90% of your actions. I just don't gain anything for doing it unless I do it with a call out. And that's the important part, where you can do something like this into the move, and it's literally, they could not do anything about it. They cannot interrupt you. And the thing is, once you get accustomed to what they do after using this and control them, some down forward twos every so often to see, right? You're not risking your life. And that's the important part too, where since it's safe, you're not giving your opponent plus frames to mix you with, and you're literally not dying. So if you're not dying, that means you can take another mix later, right? So every time you go, are they pressing, right? Just so you can get information, so you can test and see what do they want to do. They're taking damage, you're getting plus frames. You're +4, and it pushes back too, right? So it really does reset it. Right, you're +4, 19 damage, nothing too big. But they're just slightly outside of the range. So you can do this, right? Or think of it this way, let's say you just did a mix. You get your information safely. It's a safe, are you ducking, or are you like doing mid check, right? Are you ducking check? Completely safe for free. And it's fast enough to interrupt any bullshit they were trying to do. And it also has good stepping tracking too. So that means you're essentially protecting yourself, right? This move here, this is when you really get into fighting games, you really get into things where it's like, I understand what I'm trying to do in a game, right? I understand what my goals basically are, because I'm not even that advanced yet. When you understand what your basic goals are, this move becomes like, oh yeah, this is so good. This is so good, and I'm so happy that my character has this. Because any other character, I don't think anyone else has a down forward 4 that fast. I think this is the fastest down forward 4 in the game. And like both Tekken 8 and Tekken 7, like they're both 12 frames. I don't think anyone has a down forward 4 that quick. And where you can slot it in is like, it's a move, and I think this is the best way to describe it. It's a move that you're basing your interest and your wants and all your eggs and like into the basket of like versatility versus like reward. Like if you use the move well, then you get a bunch of reward from it. And like that's the characters I like. I like characters with versatility, where versatility and or like glass cannon, where you have versatile parts of your kits, where if you use them well, or you use them or slot them here, there's things you can do to create very unique situations that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise. And the weaknesses of your character you can compensate with just by being better. If you compensate for your weaknesses by just simply playing around them and like making them not a problem for yourself, by just adapting and going, I don't care. Like for example, a great example of this is in Warframe. In Warframe, there's characters, right, where their primary stat that they use is strength. That's very fucking boring, because then you start bloating your kit with strength, and due to the opportunity cost, it affects the rest of your kits. And then there's like range, duration, range, duration, and efficiency. Yeah, range, strength, duration, efficiency. And then when you bloat strength, it becomes boring. It's like, yeah, if you increase strength, number goes up. But what happens when you get a character when none of their stats are affected by strength? You don't have to use strength mods. And since you don't have to use strength mods, you don't have to build in a traditional way. And if you don't have to build in a traditional way, it frees up the like the ways you can play. So, for example, Loki doesn't use strength at all. You can max out your duration. You can make your range insanely far. And he has a thing called radial disarm, where he removes the guns from everyone within the area, forcing them into a melee character like AI set. So then your CC legends, or anyone who's like trap based becomes stronger, right? So for example, in Tekken terms, anyone whose entire thing is that like they get in your face and they rush you down, you have a fast hitting interrupt button that's safe on block for whenever you're wrong, right? You don't risk yourself whenever you do this. If you need to interrupt and go, no, I need you to stop, it's essentially the Raw Rising 1, I mean, it's the Raw Rising 4 of standing. You have a fast hitting mid button to go, no. And you can access it from standing at any time. Oh, they're finna hit me with a mix. I can option select it by pressing this. Because the thing is, some certain characters... Actually, what the fuck is this? So, like, certain characters have mix-ups that you can interrupt with, like, a dick jab. Right? Something like this. Right? In Tekken 8, it's a 10-frame move. Right? But the issue is, if you have your sword out, you can't do that. You can just do this, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. It depends on the frames, but like, it's the general idea. I'm not gonna harp on it anymore, because I feel like I'm just rambling, and maybe you don't get it, maybe you do. But I'm not gonna randomly just figure out how to say it after failing twice. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna look through the move list a little bit, and then I'm just gonna get off. This is really good. Going +0 into a 12-frame counter hit launcher. Oh, this being an unblockable is insane. Hold on. Oh, that's 4 forward, 1+2 is what I did. Okay, so 4 forward, 1+2 is the unblockable. Forward, 1+2 is this move. Wall spot collar. Yep. Combo tool. This is safe? Yo, bro, a forward advancing. Like, is this a high? Yeah. Okay, so forward advancing, high kick, homing move. That's interesting. -14. Down forward 1, 2. This is interesting, actually. I think this is actually kind of cool. I think a lot of Kunimitsu's moves are very like interesting to look at, but the part that's cool is that this is a down forward 1 string that has a third extension, and the third extension of the down forward 1 string is more minus than the second one, which incentivizes you to do this. But if they punish you for doing the second one, you can do the full extension, hoping that they press. And it's like a cool mental games that you get for fighting games. Down for a 1-3, which is the safe string, but it ends in a high, so they can like duck underneath and launch you. This fair cool like fighting game stuff. This is down for a 2, 50-frame launcher, punishable. So like this launcher not being safe on block is incredibly cool, and I'd be perfectly fine if they made it that way in T8. If it's not safe, just port the character over, bro. just port the exact character over. I hope this move exists, because this is always cool. It's incredibly obvious, right? And you're -6 if you don't finish. So I think the one thing, the rule in Tekken that if it's a weapon you can't low parry it, you have to block, is listen, I understand that it's a traditional Tekken rule. If they were to change it or remove it, I'd be fine with experimenting of like what a game is like when you can low parry Clive's weapon moves. And if anyone ever goes, oh, it's a sword. How are you parrying that? That's you're just grabbing the blade. It's like, bro, we have at this point we have fucking bears. We have a kangaroo. We have demons and angel gen. We have Kazi in full demon mode. We're fighting in the atmosphere where we literally landed on a fucking asteroid and flew into the Earth's atmosphere and lived. We have Jack 8 armies. Like, why do you care? Well, Reina is doing fucking hop kicks. We're far past the traditional means of Tekken. Reina does hop kicks. She's a Mishima with an electric, a hell sweep, and her 442 doesn't wall splat. Not her 442. Her 112 doesn't wall splat, but transitions into a stance for a mix-up. What do we, like, this is, we're so far beyond the traditional standard rules of Tekken that if they just made that small change for the sake of player mental health and, like, annoyance, no one would care. We would actually fucking thank them. We would go thank you for not keeping this annoying bullshit in, right? If they made it that you could low parry fucking heat smashes, we'd go thank you. If they made it that low heat smashes when blocked were launch punishable, we'd go thank you. Because you're forcing me to make a hard call out on the low, which would mean I would die if I'm wrong. Objectively, there's just so many annoying things, so many annoying fucking things each character has, especially, like, if you look at your main right now, no bullshit, full stop. Like, think about what I'm saying. If you look at your main as we speak, and you go, there's nothing broken about my main, you're a fucking dumbass. You're a dumbass. You don't know how the game works. You are not good, and I genuinely think I genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I do not think you understand how fighting games work, and you've been pressing buttons, and you're carried by this fucking game. And if you go, oh, bro, it's not that serious, dog. No. We're not playing that game. We're not gonna pretend as if we all didn't play the same game for a year, and witness the war crimes that each of our characters were doing, and we're gonna go, yeah, my character doesn't have anything that's a problem at all. If you play Jin and you even remotely thought to say anything, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. Shut your bitch ass up. If you play Jin, if you play Law, I was gonna say Paul, but like Paul just does a lot of damage. Like Paul just does obscene amounts of damage, and I can't say I hate Paul, even though he's annoying. I can't let those words like leave my mouth, bruh. Alright, if you play Kazuya, listen, I understand Kazuya mains that you have to rely on certain sets of moves, right, in order to do things. Right, you have to do these very small number of moves in order to get things done. I understand that. On the other hand, why in the fuck do you need a crouch dash 1+2, which is like plus infinity on block, to reset your mix? So I just have to keep guessing. And it's just like step left. Yeah, but then you have wave dash to realign. The thing you practice all the time, right? So like, it's like you can't ignore the obvious thing you have to address that quote-unquote weakness of yours, and then get mad when I go, yo, bro, do you really need to have a low counter hit launching tool that's plus on block? I mean, plus on hit? That leaves you crouch so you can do your counter hit launcher? Do you need that? Do you need to have such chunky lows? And then you just take that same thought process and go to every single character and you go, yo, bro, why do you have this? What is the emphasis on you being better than your opponent with this moveset? Right? What is the risk reward for this move? Right? Why is it like 90% in your favor and it still has like good reward? What are we doing? I actually kind of like this. A -3 mid is kind of dope. I wonder it's. I wonder if it's a knockdown move. Yeah, but to be fair, that's counter hit. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I like this. Yeah, bring this one. I hope they bring all of them. I genuinely do hope they like bring every single one of these moves. Oh, this move has to make it. Yo, if this move is not in the game, I'm actually upset. If this move isn't in there, I'm upset, bro. I actually am. Like, I wonder, is it? Yeah, you can. It doesn't trap you, so you can see you get hit with a move and still duck. And you can just stand out to block. So like, I hope it's in the next game. Oh yeah, this move because it just looks cool, and it's safe on block. Is this whole thing safe? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I hope this is in there. Cause I think you just sidestep it, no? You have to sidestep it at some point. Monty spin kicks. Yeah, I don't know. He's doing that. Okay. So, this being like zero, even though it seems like yo, that's kind of bad. I don't think it's that bad, bro. I think being zero, it could be a lot worse. It could genuinely be a lot worse. This is the backswing blow. Again, no backswing blows should ever be safe. I think that's actually such like a critical failing on like balance. Because if you make a backswing blow safe for nothing at all, right? And some people be like, oh, Double Jin has a backswing blow that's safe. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. You get launched if you don't use the heat burst. If you don't use the heat dash, you die. It's not safe, right? And just because you got hits with a backswing blow that was made safe, literally one time during that round, because it can only happen once, into a mix-up, and you were wrong, that's not on me. That's not on anyone. That's not on like literally anyone. This is the power crush. Power crushes should all. If they release any more high safe on block power crushes, I think the community should genuinely tweak out. I don't think, because I know it's just like a small thing, but you have to understand. You need to don't think of it like. It's so hard to like describe the way you should think about it, because it's not about the move itself. It's about the way it forces the other person to play, and also about what it forces you to play. When you're dealing with a stance mix-up, right? And the stance mix-up is reactable. There's no mix-up. Point blank period. There's no mix-up. And if there's no mix-up, that means someone doesn't fucking care. And if they don't fucking care, then there's no mental stack. And if there's no mental stack, they can just play easier, right? It's the same feeling of like you want someone to duck, but they won't duck. You want to use your mids, but they're just not ducking. So you use your lows, but your lows don't do anything enough to make them care. So you keep using them, and then they get the timing for it, and then they block your lows, and then you get punished heavily, and you get mixed, and then when it's your turn, they don't duck again. So you have to take the risk of using a move to force them to duck and make them concerned. You have to scare them into ducking. So imagine a situation where you're trying to pressure somebody, and they can just go, no, power crush. But then they're wrong. And because they're wrong in their use of power crush and they guess wrong, you get a punish and you keep pressuring them and they use power crush again and you punish them again and again. That literally disincentivizes them from using power crush, even in situations where it would make sense. So that's why whenever you're playing against, when I'm playing against a Kazuya, I want them to use down 4-2s. I want them to use that homing mid because it's minus 12. So I would sidestep on purpose, even like just to get them to use it. I'm baiting them into doing a response that I know I can punish to disincentivize them from doing it again in the future so I can sidestep their moves. Right? I'm basically conditioning them into believing that I am constantly aware of something even though I'm not, by baiting them into doing it so I can do the thing I want to do later. But if I cannot get them to stop, like, if let's say they didn't have down 4-2 as their homing move, or like they had a new homing move that was safe on block, I cannot stop them from stopping me from sidestepping, which means I cannot sidestep against Kazuya, especially if that fucking sidestep, that homing move is a launcher. So if you have a natural hit homing launcher, right, or you have a natural hit safe on block heat engager, natural hit safe on block homing heat engager, you cannot step. Because if you get hits, right, if you get fucking hits by a mid homing safe on block heat engager, then he literally gets a free mix and he's amped up. So now I'm putting him in the exact condition he needs to be able to go for his fucking house sweep, or what was it, like 4-4 mix, to actually like try to kill me, because I can't sidestep. The option select being sidestep left or sidestep left does not work. It doesn't work, because if I sidestep left, he literally just keeps throwing in safe on block mid, backstep, string, safe on block mid, homing mid. You know what I mean? Like he just keeps doing it over and over again, right? In different timings, maybe back to back. So there's no way to get him to stop. I guess like a perfect example is like Yoshimitsu flash. If you never punish Yoshimitsu for flashing, then you actually can't attack him at some point. Like there's certain points where you just can't attack him, right? Where, oh, I literally caught him making a mistake. I hit him with a move that transitions into stance. I can't take my plus frames because he's just gonna flash me. Then you don't take the plus frames. He flashes. You launch him, you get full combo damage, then you do mix into nothing, and if he flashes again, he's a dickhead and he dies. So then, once that happens, Yoshi stops flashing because he's scared, and then you do the actual things you want to do and go, okay, I got enough in, I've done some serious damage, he's gonna want to flash again soon, bait the flash out, and then you just win. You have to understand that the move being good isn't the problem ever, right? Like, of course it can be the source of the issue. Yes, it actually is the problem. I phrased that wrong. The move being good, yes, is the problem, but it's not a problem just because it's good alone. It's a problem because that move being good enables some other part of the person's game plan in which it feels insufferable to play against. Right? The reason playing against Clive in Tekken 8 felt such like bullshit is because since, hold on, I need to keep doing moves so I'm not just standing still. It's such bullshit is because of the fact that Prominence being safe, a safe heat engager that was also a mid that also tracked to both sides, was essentially unplayable because the best way to play the game was just do the safe mid to disincentivize them from doing literally anything. And then when they responded, right, you can back up and do the safe full screen mid, and what are they gonna do? Nothing. You know what I mean? Like they're just not gonna do anything. There's nothing they could do. And since there's nothing they could do to punish you for that, they have to go for a straight mix off of like just the plus frames that they got. So there's no like punishment into mix. They just have to go for something. They have to poke, which means that gives you more opportunities to intercept, get reads, and sidesteps. So now they're playing carefully, more careful because of the fact that they've lost health, they've lost, like they've gotten launched, because like they've been doing pokes. You read a low, you blocked it, you gotta get punished in. So now they're playing more carefully, doing a bunch of mids. I mean, your mental stack is lower because they're doing a bunch of mids. Because you don't have to, you're not being punished by anything, you're not being rushed down by anything. And whenever they do something to try to rush you down or punish you, right? And it's your turn, you have a free YOLO button that you can always be +5 on without having to really think or try. It's just a safe panic move. It's the same reason that like tip range, Titan move, like it's just bad. Any safe move essentially disincentivizes a certain style of gameplay, or it allows you to play in a certain way. And depending on that, it kind of like just ruins the experience. Like there's no reason to ever have a safe low. If I block a low, I should get a punish. Point blank period. If I'm committing myself to blocking low and I'm right, I should get a reward. And I'm fine with the reward being something specific, like I have to be specific for it, right? I have to exactly guess that you're gonna do it. I have to exactly know the right punishment to figure out to get the reward for it. But it's different from like literally getting the block and then not having any punishment at all. That feels shitty. That feels shitty to like literally risk your life by ducking and then get no reward for it. Whether the person did a move or not, literally doing this and getting nothing feels bad. Just purely enough. Well, I think the only way to truly understand or to I think the only way we're going to understand whether or not this game they ported it over exactly is if we have, you know, Kunimitsu in our hands. I think I've gone over the moves that I think were critical. I think I've gone over the concepts of what I don't want them to do. I just find going through move lists particularly boring unless I have like something I'm looking for. And I'm not gonna practice on an old move set when, let's face it, Tekken 8 does have like a habit of changing things around. They're gonna make things heat engagers, but to be fair, I'm not gonna be a dickhead. I think so far they have brought over tons of the old moves. They just added new transitions. Right? I think Devil Jin uniquely has some moves just erased from his kits. Right? In exchange, he has Fly, sure. Like he has Morning Crow. I mean, like the fly stances are basically useless. Like he basically doesn't have that stance. But he has Morning Crow instead. So like people were gaining new stances, people were getting new moves. It's just unfortunate that the characters that I play, like Devil Jin, he had some part of his kit, like basically an entire playstyle for his kit like removed, which is interesting, to say the least. But I just hope they port the character over faithfully and maybe tone it down. Like I think if we had a character who was weak in Tekken 8, it wouldn't be the end of the world, right? If they brought Angel back and she was like, I think Angel was bad the last time she was in a game, but like if they bring someone back and they're not the strongest, it's okay. This move has to stay. This move, I hope this is in the game, because it's hard to imagine they would bring over Kunimitsu and then get rid of all the cool stuff that I like, because it's like, how do you even bring this character over Devil fucking shoots lasers out of his fucking like skull, and his rage art is anime as fuck. They're definitely keeping this low end. They're definitely keeping it. There's no reason they wouldn't. You know what I mean? Facing it in game is probably gonna be annoying as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, but you know what I mean? 13. It's fuzzyable. It's fine, but that's enough for me. I'll see you guys later.